Welcome to Reckless Paradise, everyone. I'm your host, Marissa, and I'm here with my co-host, Dystro. Say hi.
Hello, everyone.
Happy Thursday, everybody. I hope everybody is having a very good week. I've had actually a pretty good week so far.
Thus far.
Thus far, we're almost at the end, so I'm actually having a really good week.
Yeah, and my week's been alright, I guess.
Well, we're still here, we're still existing, and that's what matters. So thanks for joining us tonight, guys. I hope everybody enjoys tonight's episode. We are once again shooting the shit. Episode 6 of Shoot the Shit. Oh man, I love this series. I really do. Like, it lets us just like talk about anything. We don't have to like stick to one topic, so to speak.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm chewing on something over here.
God damn it, that show.
Hey, I got pizza over here, okay?
Oh, lucky. What kind?
My mom, uh, Mama Dystro, she did, um, I think it was like chicken bacon ranch or something, but then she added more chicken onto it.
Mm.
So it's really good.
That does sound good. I'm over here eating these freaking they're like candies, but they're not. It's like taffy. It's haichu. It's from Japan.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Mm. So, just like any other shoot the shit episode, there's no set topic. We talk about anything, even if we're fucking venting, because on this show, it's okay to vent. This is a non-judgmental zone here, both for both parties here, me and Dystro. March has been a bitch for us. Let's just say that.
Oh, well, you in particular, but
um, Before I get into that, I would like to express my well wishes to those over in Canada right now who have been impacted by the freezing rainstorm that they had just gotten. We got regular rain down here in New York, where I am, anyways. We got regular rain and thunderstorms. It was too warm down here for ice to form, so we got very lucky. However, Canada did not get so lucky. Um, as of about 6 o'clock this evening, there was about over 1 million people without power over in Quebec right now. That's a lot. A good majority of them being in Montreal. Montreal is a huge city, so I mean, it's to be expected. But if you take into consideration how many small towns there are in Quebec and, outskirt roads and stuff and cornfields, like, there's a lot. There's a lot of people who live in the outskirts who don't have access to these gas stations and, like, what do we call them? Like, retreat centers. Like, churches open up centers for people to warm up, charge stuff, get food, water. It sucks. But my thoughts and prayers go out to those over in Quebec right now. Stay
hmm
strong. They're saying it's going to be days before some people get power back.
jeez.
And I know
That's-
that feeling all too well.
Or well, I really can't say shit because
Boo.
I've only had like maybe it was like 2 or 3 hours without power, and then we'll get it back. But one time, like it was like the next day when we got power back, and
Lucky.
then it was just like I was like, oh, okay. But it's like we live in Florida, so it's like
Yeah.
it's just because it's hurricane and tornado season
Yeah.
and all
Um,
that crap.
yeah, on my end, the longest I've been without power was 3 days. We had a really bad windstorm in like December of 2021. It was the worst amount of destruction I've ever seen up here, living up here. Freaking telephone poles were snapped in half. We had a big tree down on our trail, but luckily it wasn't laying across the trail. It was just off to the side. But there were trees down everywhere, wires down, telephone poles snapped in half. It was like a war zone. It literally looked like a tornado went through. We had like 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts up here. It was
Mm.
so bad. We were without power for 3 days. We lost our power. I think it was on a Saturday night. We didn't get our power back till Tuesday night.
Mm.
Yeah. And we were like literally the last ones to get our power turned back on.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but again, our thoughts and prayers go out to those in Quebec right now, including our good old buddy Ken's. Love you, man.
Hope you're doing okay.
Yeah, I know it sucks the predicament that he's in right now too. Especially because like around this time of the year, there's a lot of thawing going on, a lot of snow is melting, a lot of runoff is happening. People's basements are flooding, and right now, on our way to town, apparently one of the main roads is flooded, completely flooded, because the rivers have rose so much just from the runoff of the snow melting. Um, so apparently one of the main roads is flooding. I guess they might be closing it off. So that means if we gotta go to town, we gotta go all the way around.
Yeah. She's gonna go whoop, whoop,
Yeah, it's an extra
whoop.
like 10-minute drive, but shit
A beautiful
happens.
scenery, I bet.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because like the thing is, the road that we would have to take to get to town now, it's actually one of the roads that we ride for ATV season.
Oh, well, hey, look at that. It
Yeah.
worked out.
um, but yeah, again, thoughts and prayers go out to those in Quebec. I hope you guys get your power back soon.
Mhm.
Jeez, I don't think I've ever seen destruction that bad before out there. I've seen pictures out there. There was a tree that was on top of a car out in Montreal. Um, Ice was everywhere. It was just wow, crazy. Like you think that we wouldn't get this in April though? Like we're into spring now. Like we should be warming up, not cooling down.
Yeah, but I mean, Mother Nature is a cruel mistress sometimes. Let's just say that.
Oh yeah. Oh man. All right, so let's switch gears here. Before, like, I'm gonna save my venting for last, I believe, because that usually takes the longest. Let's talk about some music. So, what have we been listening to lately?
Well, we've been listening to Def Leppard
Oh
lately,
yes.
and then, what, like
Yesterday.
yesterday, you had went on the Pink Floyd "Wish You Were Here" album.
Yes. Oh my god. Okay, so this is what happened. So it was like storming yesterday, and I was like still in my room because like I wasn't supposed to be downstairs till later on because like I usually take a nap between like 1 and 4, so I couldn't sleep. So frick it, I'll freaking put a Pink Floyd album on. I had been meaning to listen to "Wish You Were Here" for a very long time, and I've been putting it off. And I finally got the chance to listen to it, and it is freaking once again amazing, just like Dark Side of the Moon.
Hmm.
And then I was like, Dystro, you need to listen to this.
And I did.
And what did you think?
Like I said, with Dark Side of the Moon, it is a trip.
It's awesome. I love it. It really is. Now, little background here. With the album Wish You Were Here, they kind of dedicated it to former bandmate Sid Barrett. Now, Sid Barrett was one of the original founding members of Pink Floyd who left towards like the early 70s due to mental health issues. He was on the decline and stuff like that. He literally went into a completely different person. Like, he went from being kind of attractive, like really like curly hair, to bald, and he just looked sick. Like he gained a lot of weight. He was bald. He just didn't look well. So he kind of left on his own accord, and then David Gilmour came in and stuff like that. So they dedicated this album to him because like Sid played a big role on starting Pink Floyd in general.
Right.
So like with Shine On You Crazy Diamond, for example, parts 1 through 5 and then parts 6 through 9. That
Those were
song in
good.
particular, yeah, it's dedicated to him. So I think this album kind of has been more of a oomph to it because of the meaning. Like it's just more enjoyable to listen to.
Right.
But man, the sounds they use, especially on Welcome to the Machine, like that is my favorite track right now.
Welcome to the machine.
Like the fucking sounds they use for that, it's like spacey.
It reminds me of like the spaciness of Forgiveness 1 and 2.
There you go. There you go. And like I've said before, Ian compared that track to a Pink Floyd track. So it works. It really does. I really love Pink Floyd. I'm so glad that like I'm kind of doing it as a side project right now because there's quite a few albums. I've been through two now. I have yet to finish going through the '70s stuff. I should have started with their earlier stuff back when they were more of like a psychedelic rock group because as they progressed into the '70s, they kind of changed their genre over to prog rock, also known as progressive rock. Prog rock is just very innovative. It's very creative. It's kind of like you're thinking outside of the box sort of thing. It's unique. It's very unique. And I have yet to go and visit the old stuff before they became a prog rock group. So I've got a lot to do. But
Mhm.
my next album on the agenda, I'm going to try to hit the Animals album. This was their dark album. As Roger Waters was going through like a whole bunch of shit with like politics in the UK and stuff and his beliefs on it. And there was just a lot of tension in the band. So this album is considered their dark album. I'm very interested to listen to it. So it's only 5 tracks. It's gonna be like another "Wish You Were Here" situation where like the first song and the last song are the longest.
Yeah. It's it's like, and plus like she'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, you gotta listen to this."
I already know you need to listen to The Wall. Like I already know that album's gonna be good, but it's long. It's like over an hour. It's like an hour and a half.
It's like a movie.
And there actually is a movie.
Yeah, the movie, it's like it actually. I think it has like I mean, like not spoiling anything, but it's like I think they did like real life versions of the songs and like have like a little like meaning behind each song sort of thing. I guess like
Right.
it was a weird movie that came out at the time, and I think it didn't get like a lot of reviews from like critics and stuff like that. But then it's just like, I mean, it's a Pink Floyd movie, so
I'm interested to watch it. Like I feel like, obviously listen to the album first and then go look for the movie. I wonder if they have it on DVD. That's what I'm wondering.
I would
They
think
should.
so. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Oh my god. Because the thing is, my okay, so let me think. There's also a Pink Floyd documentary I was also recommended to watch by a family member of mine, um, who also likes Pink Floyd. So I am gonna have to do some research on that and find it. I don't know if it's on YouTube or something. I really would like to really dig into depth with this group. Like this is gonna be kind of like a side project for me because, like I said, there is a lot of albums, and it's like it's all different phases of the group. Like '60s early formation, Sid Barrett was there. This was like psychedelic rock. '70s, Sid Barrett left. David Gilmour took his place, and they changed
Mhm.
to prog rock. And then you have your '80s, the downfall with Roger Waters. Roger Waters exited the band because of tensions. David Gilmour took the full reins with Richard Wright. And then '90s, they kind of released the last album of Division Bell, and then they released one more album in like 2014, which that's interesting because when I was looking into that one, David Gilmour said this was going to be their final Pink Floyd album. So like I'm kind of intrigued to hear this. So I'm so excited. Music nerd me is just geeking out over here.
So I looked it up. There is a DVD of The
Ooh,
Wall. There's like different like sites like eBay, Walmart, Amazon, all that crap.
Amazon.
Amazon's like 17.98 though.
That's to be expected. It's a Pink Floyd movie. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
pricey. All the Pink Floyd albums are fucking pricey.
yeah. I think like I looked it up and stuff like that. It's like it's rated R, just to let you know.
Okay,
But I think like the runtime is like 7.5 hours.
7.5 hours.
Yeah, but I
Oh
think
my.
that's just because like they're trying to get like a whole bunch of like stuff into it. Because it's like it says driven to the edge. It says a recalls the often traumatic events that shaped his life. So it's like kind of playing on like what's going on within the group, I guess.
So apparently this movie came out in '82, and the
Yeah,
album came out in '70. Oh God, I'm not gonna butcher this. I need to look it up. Um,
I think 77,
I'm gonna guess. I'm gonna guess
right?
'78.
I'm
It's
gonna say 70.
'79.
Oh, okay. Well,
I was 1 year off. I was close enough. That came out in '79, so that's weird. The movie came out about 3 years later.
hmm.
That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that. I really want to look into it. That's cool. Um, so Def Leppard, we are at the halfway point as of tonight for our pilgrimage.
Yeah, we are on Pyromania, the best-selling album of the group.
I'm so excited for this one, to be honest. It's the one album, luckily, that I still have in my possession.
Hmm.
Like, I love that album to death, and
Like,
I can say that wholeheartedly.
it's like I think I've told you like I've known like 4 or 5 songs from the album.
Okay. Now, spoiler alert, I think you're gonna like Die Hard the Hunter just intro.
Okay, that's a big game.
Yeah, that's like it's like an underdog song for me, but it's one of my favorites. Um, Opening track is great right off the riff. I already know that. Like I said, I know every track on that album.
Well, good for you.
I'm excited, and I'm glad that I'm sharing this with you. It's like reliving my childhood all over again.
Right.
Like I'm literally refulfilling my childhood self right now. Like, cause what? How old was I? I was like maybe 8 or 9 when I got into Def Leppard. I saw them in concert in 2012, so I was 10. So I was very young when I got into Def Leppard, and childhood me is just so happy right now. I'm going back and reliving all these memories and listening to albums that I haven't heard yet.
Right.
Well, unfortunately, we've come across 2 bad albums so far.
Slang and X.
X being the better of the two, to be honest with you.
Oh, man, Slang sucked, man.
It
Like,
really did.
damn. Like, good thing like we went into it with low expectations, because if we did have like high expectations, we would have been like just so let down, like just super, just oh man, that sucked.
It really did, and it does suck. Though there were good tracks, like "Blood Runs Cold," obviously standout track for me.
There was like 4 or 5 good tracks for me, but it's just like that was it.
That was it. It's just like no, it's not
It's
good.
it's like one of those like hit or miss albums you've said.
Same with X, but X was slightly better than Slang, and I can truthfully say that.
Yeah,
I was
that's
actually enjoying myself a little bit more with X. I don't know if it was just because some of the songs sounded like their old sound. Like I know the closing track was really good.
right.
Scar was really good. It was perfect closing track. They had a good opening too with the song Now. Um, with Slang, they had a shit opening track,
Yeah,
and
shit closer kind of.
I don't even remember the closer. Is that bad?
Yeah, I would say so.
I'm gonna go check. I kind of forgot the closing track of that album. I know it was a bad opener. I didn't like the opener.
Well, the one that we did, it was the Japanese like bonus track.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't that good. No, the closing track was pretty bad.
Yeah.
But Work It Out, All I Want Is Everything, Slang, Blood Runs Cold, and Where Does Love Go When It Dies. All of those tracks were good.
Yeah.
And then with X, I liked Now. I liked Long, Long Way to Go, Scar, Torn to Shreds, and Every Day.
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah.
Like I said, I kind of enjoyed myself more with X, which is weird. Like, because I didn't like the album, but I enjoyed myself more.
Right.
Slang just felt really dark.
Yeah, it was just. Uh,
Because you got to remember, the band members were going. This was the first album without Steve.
yeah.
So, like, because Steve had passed while recording Adrenalize, and they continued as a 4-piece for that album. And then they brought in Vivian after that for tours, and now he's a full member of the band now. And then with
Right.
Slang, like at the time they were going through, still trying to get over Steve's death, divorces, freaking deaths. There was like another thing, I think.
It was
Freaking,
like
I
it was
think,
like pregnancies and stuff,
yeah, like
something like that.
birth, death, like all that stuff. They were going through so much, and it's just like it all culminated into one album, and it was not a good turnout. because they also changed their sound because at the time grunge was huge in the 90s. So it just didn't work out.
I think this is me wholeheartedly. If they just stuck with their original sound, I think it would have done more sales
It
than
would have
what.
been better.
Yeah, like because when it came out, it was like it had certified gold, which I mean that's good, but it's not like platinum or anything. But it did like 500,000 in sales, and
Wow.
that's not good.
Yikes. Yeah, that is not very, very good. Um, but yeah, I'm glad that we got through them though already and we could focus on the other stuff because when we get to the second half of our pilgrimage, a lot of the stuff I've never listened to. With the exception of Adrenalize, because I had that album too. And man, that album is going to be a game changer when it comes to our rankings, in my opinion. Because you know how we always have our game changing albums that shake things up a little bit?
Hmm.
This is going to be one of them. And I know it because it's another one of those albums. I know every track. And this album has more of like a personal meaning for me. Like it just hits me a little bit harder because, Steve Clark had passed during that album.
Right. Right.
So you're going to like it. And I'm excited. What else have I listened to? Well, I know what we are going to be listening to this month.
Yeah.
72
uh,
Seasons by Metallica is coming out literally next week.
yeah. That's it's like the songs that I've heard thus far, it makes me intrigued because it's like yes, they are getting older in age, but I mean, they're still putting out good stuff.
I love the recent one that just came out. Literally the title track, 72 Seasons. It is good. It's so good.
Like when Lux Eterna came out, I was like, okay. I was like, they still kept their old sound.
Mm-hmm.
Then I was like, okay. I was like, well, I mean, they're getting older. Like a lot of things are gonna change, obviously. But then when I heard, I think Screaming Suicide, there was like a dark meaning behind it because it was about like James had to do like
Did it.
he almost did it. Yeah, like and I was like, oh, okay, wow, all right. So because like you in the video, like you can see him like screaming at himself, talking to himself, and all that stuff. It's like that's what some people deal with every day. It's
Yeah.
scary.
I feel like a lot of us have been into that point in our lifetimes, considering myself. Um, but there's always light at the end of the tunnel.
Hmm.
Always remember that. I'm very excited to hear this new Metallica album. I know a lot of people are, and like I've seen freaking social media buzzing, radio stations are buzzing about it. And I've been asked by friends myself, including you obviously, like, what do you think this album's gonna be like? I think it's gonna be good, in my personal opinion. Just by hearing the 3 songs that we've heard so far, it's going to be really good. And they're going on a big tour this year, and oh my god.
I was gonna say like there's been I was gonna say four actually.
Oh, there's 4 tracks that came out. I must have missed
Yeah.
one. It's okay.
It was oh, if darkness had an only son or something like
Okay.
that.
I must have missed that one.
That one was really good too. That was like a touchy subject as well.
It's gonna be
Um,
interesting.
yeah, it's like man, it's like I haven't listened to like a lot of Metallica albums. Like Ride the Lightning was like my first one. Oh god, what was like the latest one before this one? Um,
I haven't listened to any
oh,
Metallica album.
it was Hardwired to Self Destruct. That's what it was.
Okay.
I've listened to like bits and pieces of that, mainly because one of the tracks was on the uh 2K22 or 2K19 when we played or
It
something.
was one of those. I don't remember.
Um, but like I was like, okay. And it's like I've heard it and I was like, okay. And then God, it was like it's been a while since I've like listened to like any more Metallica. It's like
I haven't listened to any Metallica albums in full at all. Like I've heard
it's
like the hits and stuff.
it's like our good buddy Ken's like he just listened to Saint Anger
Oh,
not
he
too
was
long ago.
bad.
He was mad because Lars didn't tune up his snare drum.
Uh, I kind of want to hear at least one song now from Saint Anger just to see like what the hell he's
Just
complaining about.
I would just listen to the title track and you'll know what he's talking about.
Oh
You hear,
man.
and it just does not sound like it's been tuned at all. Like it's
Oh
just
man.
hanging there by a thread, no pun intended, but it's been hanging there like by a thread.
Fucking snare just breaks midway of the song.
Um, but I mean, yeah, like I mean, like with Metallica, then there's gonna be some hits, there's gonna be some misses in between and all that stuff. It's like when we get to that Metallica journey later on and stuff, I think like we will have kind of like almost like a Pink Floyd situation. Like we'll have like highs and lows and then an in between sort of thing. Um, Mostly they've both been highs thus far.
So far, yeah.
Um, so I'm kind of excited for that. And then later on this year we've got Foo Fighters coming up.
Ah,
Or
yes. This
yes,
will be our summer project.
yes, this is our summer
It's like
project.
last year we started our very first pilgrimage in the summer. We started with Billy Town, but at the same time, we were talking about Van Halen during August. Like we spent like
Hmm.
2 full weeks on Van Halen, which was nice. And what's funny is, after we're done Foo Fighters, we're gonna go back to Van Halen, but we're gonna listen to everything. But we're doing it in a different way. We're gonna actually do it in order.
Chronological.
Yeah, because they've had three different singers, so like it kind of wouldn't make sense to go back and forth between Sammy, one Gary, one Daily Roth, like go back to Sammy. Like it wouldn't make sense. It'd kind of feel a little weird. So I think we're better off to go in order and see how much they've progressed and how much they've changed.
Yeah, especially like when Sammy did enter the group, I think it's just like their sound kind of changed a little bit.
Be love, straight from the
Oh my god.
heart. Tell me
Tell me
why
why
can this
this
be
be
love?
love? Wow.
And like we've said in the Van Halen episodes we did last summer, I like the Sammy stuff. It's like the stuff that I'm more comfortable with. I don't know why. It's just like it sounds different. Like it sounds, I wouldn't say better. It just sounds good. It brings me comfort.
And I've been a David Lee Roth guy, obviously.
Oh God, with his exaggerated dance moves.
It's like you could see, well, you see where, you know, like if let's say Ben Kowalowitz gets his charisma from.
Oh God, maybe fucking Angus
No, oh God,
and
who,
Goose.
who do we? Oh, we compared, I think, Ben Kowalowitz to Steven Tyler because of his his loud wow like that. I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's a good comparison.
Oh man, I'm the only thing I'm not looking forward to with the Van Halen stuff is the stuff
Gary.
with Gary Sharon from Extreme. He did
Well,
not work.
hey, hey, at least he did one album.
Two.
Oh, two. Oh shit.
Yeah,
Sucks.
it wasn't good. It really wasn't. It turned
It
a
was
lot
like
of Van Halen fans away
it
even
was like
more.
Van Halen 3 he was
There was Van
on.
Halen 3 and there was another one he was on after that. It's just people could tolerate Sammy, but once Gary stepped into the picture, like, nah, we're done. That's it.
Bye.
Bye bye, bitch.
Bye bye, bitch.
Um, but yeah, music wise, we've been pretty busy, just like we've been with every month. I can't wait to keep going with the Def Leppard stuff.
Yeah. Now I've been busy with my YouTube stuff.
Oh yeah, you hit 600.
Yeah. Uh Last week.
Yeah, I was happy about that.
Well, no, technically this week, but it was, a
It
few
was
days
on the
after.
4th. That was what?
That
Oh, that
was
was literally 2 days ago.
Yeah, that was like 2 days ago.
So we kind of hit your goal, like, cause like on the last episode we did, we're like, let's get him to 600 before Thursday. We did it in like 2 days.
Yeah, that's true.
That's cool.
Yeah. But man, like 600 subscribers, like holy crap, like that's crazy.
It is. It really is.
And I'm working towards 700 now, and I'm currently looking at my thing. I'm at 625 right now.
Wow, so you're a quarter of the way to 700.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Wow. We're still at 22 subscribers.
but hey, it's a long way to the top, am I right?
Yeah, no pun intended.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Ugh. And so far I think for me anyways, I think I started April off on the right note. Like I feel like April's going pretty well so far. We're only 6 days in, but I think it's going way better than March did already.
Yeah, I'll let you talk about your March because it was hell
Yeah,
on
I'm
earth
not
with
gonna go
March.
into depth because like the last time I did on Shoot the Shit, I cried, which I hated that. I'm trying to be professional here. Um, let's just say this, like it sucks. Like once again, it sucks when somebody changes, obviously. But I've learned and come to accept that you can't do anything about that. You kind of just have to accept the fact that they've changed and move forward, even if that means they're not compatible with you anymore in terms of a relationship. Now, I understand that there's some preferences, I guess we could call it, that people want in a relationship. Like some people want kids, some people don't. I'm one of those people that doesn't. I don't want kids. Unfortunately, said person wants kids. So it's like we are no longer compatible. And if I would have known that sooner, I probably wouldn't have even tried to even try anything. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't have even tried to date him in the first place.
Right.
Cuz like apparently he thought I was going to change my mind about it in the long run when we were still together. That wasn't going to happen. Like I'm firmly set on the fact I don't want kids. And kind of said something that really hurt me.
Mhm.
Like along the lines of like, oh, I would have just left you in the long run if you would have never changed your mind about wanting kids. I'm like, really? Like, number one, why would you say that to somebody that you so called loved? Like, if you okay, here's my take on it. I'm probably gonna get backlash. I don't care. This is just me talking. If you loved the person enough, if you loved your boyfriend or girlfriend enough, you would put your differences aside and stay with them through thick and thin. Isn't that what marriage is for? You're supposed
Mhm.
to be with your person through thick and thin, through sickness and health, through rich and poor, through everything, through all the differences. You should stick by them if you truly love them, even if it means you guys don't agree on certain things. What matters is that love should override everything. If you love someone enough, then you should be able to put your differences aside and just stay together. Like, that's just
Right.
my personal take. I'm sure other people have a different thought process than I do. But it's just really you're gonna let that like stop us from even trying. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm just being dumb, but like that's just my take on it.
Like I was telling my Mama Dystro the situation at hand, and
Oh, you talked to her about it too?
yes, I talked to her about it.
Let's
Uh,
go.
she was saying like kind of like what your sentiments was saying like, well, she was like, she said, well, it doesn't really matter what she like. She said like it doesn't really matter what he wants to have because it's just like she said, put yourself first. That's a big thing. She said, put yourself first. Don't really care about what he has to say or what he wants to do and all that stuff. And it's just like, I'm like, yeah. I was like, well, I'm telling her that.
Yeah, and
but
I have been. I've been putting myself first.
but I've always said to you, like if you did need to talk to somebody, just always talk to my mama.
Mm-hmm.
But man, she was sick as a dog today.
Oh, I'm sorry to
She
hear
was
that.
she was she slept in till like 10:30.
Is it allergies?
No, it was just like she was like she said that like she had like a huge like stomach ache and all that stuff
Mm.
from like the day before, and then I was like, okay. I was like, well, I mean, like, it usually like goes away in, like a day or two. And she was like, No, it did not go away. Wait, all right,
Could
well,
be a stomach bug because there is shit going around right now.
but
Ugh.
she was just like, yeah, she's like, I just do not feel good. I came in and I was like, hey, and because like she usually like kind of like greets me at the door sometimes, and I was like, okay, well, she's not moving. All right, so and she was like, yeah, I'm just gonna have a grilled cheese for dinner. I was like, okay, well, so I brought my own stuff, so I'm good.
Well, I hope she feels better.
Yeah, but
But yeah, I'll remember, like, talk to her if I need to. I'm actually kind of glad you told her the situation.
I didn't show her like all the screen, like all the stuff that you sent me, but I was telling her like the outline of the problem.
Right. Like,
Uh,
basically, like a synopsis of what's going on.
I was telling her like what the synopsis was, and she was like, yeah, she's like, this is my take on it, and I'm like, okay, and she was saying like he should not done like said that stuff to you, and and vice versa, like you kind of like I said to her like like I mean you did stand your ground, which is a good thing. You did like tell them, being like, like that's kind of like that fucked me up a little
It
bit.
really did. Like, and you kind of took notice of that. Like, I remember the next morning, like, you texted me because, like, we had VC that night. We were playing something. The next morning, you're like, hey, are you okay? Like, I know you've been going through a lot. Like, you seemed quiet and stuff. And I kind of just, like, bursted. I was like, okay, fuck it. I'll tell you everything. Like, like, when something's going on, like, I get really quiet. I don't
Yeah,
talk much. I kind of have, like, a different tone in my voice.
yeah, because like I remember like when like I think like yeah we were playing. I think we were like playing like Minecraft or
Roblox.
2K
We're playing
Roblox.
Roblox.
That's what it was, and I was just like, I was like, okay, like she seems very just quiet, just kept to herself. I'm like,
Hmm.
okay. I was like, maybe she had a bad day or something. And I was like, because I didn't want to say anything and then be like, no, no, I had a good day. And then being like, oh, okay, like, like, yeah, sorry. And, and then like, that's why I had like messaged you the next day and I was like, hey, I was like, are you okay? And you're like, yeah, and then you're like, okay, I'm
Just
gonna
going
tell you
through some stuff.
everything. But
But yeah, like it really fucked me up. Like when someone
well,
says that
yeah.
to you and you loved them with everything in you, and you knew that they loved you too, like it just makes you question everything. Like,
Was everything for
was it
nothing?
better off? Like, was I better off leaving when I did? Like, because I feel like if I would have stayed and he, like, okay, let's just picture this 7 years down the road, 7 years have went by. Let's just say that, we're still together. He wants to talk about having kids. I don't want kids, and he breaks up with me. Can you imagine how much more that would hurt just because of the amount of time that's elapsed of being with him?
Mm.
Like, think about it for a minute. Imagine being with somebody for 7 years and they talk to you about wanting kids, and like you say no, you don't want kids. They break up with you over it after 7 years.
Kind of,
That's fucked up.
yeah. It's a little.
Like, if I would have known that, I wouldn't even tried. I wouldn't even tried to be with you. Like, it's just so shitty. Like, you don't say it to somebody that you said you so-called say you once loved. Like, I wouldn't say that stuff to you. Like, think about it. I wouldn't say that. Like,
Right.
I would put my differences aside and be with the person because I love them. I truly love them, and I would do anything to be with them. Even
Hmm.
if that means having to sacrifice family, even if I wanted one, which I don't. Like, even if that means having to sacrifice a family, even if that means having to sacrifice something in general, just being there for them, being with the person, spending the rest of my life with that person. I would do anything. Like, sometimes, like I said, you have to sacrifice stuff. You have to put your differences aside and just suck it up. If you love the person and you want them in your life, then you have to suck it up and put your differences aside.
True that.
And I will tell anybody this. I will tell my sisters this. Don't let nobody try to fool you. Don't let anybody try to control you. No man, no woman, nobody. It's your body, your choice. That's how I stand on it. If you don't want kids, you don't have to have kids.
Shit, I don't even want kids at this point because it's
I
like,
don't
man,
either.
those little monsters, shit.
Those little
And okay,
monsters.
but and plus, the fucking thing is, it's like my mom's like always like, like, are you ever gonna give us grandkids one day? I'm like, no,
I'll give you
no.
cats. That's
I was like,
enough.
I'll give you a dog or something. That'll be your grandkid.
Oh my god, those little monsters. Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking never ever forget that.
It's like no, it pisses, it shits, it eats,
It cries.
it whines all the time. Like
A dog does the same thing.
that's what I said. Like that's what I mean. Like it whines all the time. Like
Oh fuck! I love how we can turn like a serious situation into something really funny.
but like yeah, like she was like my dad too. Like Papa Dystro. He's always like, man, like, are you ever gonna give us grandkids one day? I'm like,
No.
no, like not anytime soon. I was like, just like, do you want me to do that? Like, no. It's like, do you want to see me pay child support and shit? No.
Do you want to see me cry?
Do you
No.
want to see me break down in the middle of the street and question what the fuck is wrong with me? But like, I'm serious though. It's like I do not. I stand by this. Like people can hate me if they want to. It's like, oh yeah, well, kids are the nature of life. Like, fuck that. No, like, no, I'm not gonna do that to anybody. Like, I wouldn't do that to like anybody at all. Like, if you want to have kids, go have them.
Like,
Have
okay, so here's a good question to ask you. Like, if you encountered a girl that, for whatever reason, you guys ended up together, and they wanted kids and you didn't, like, how would you feel? Like if they were willing to sacrifice not having kids, like, do you think it'd be worth it? Like, what are your thoughts? Like, put yourself in my shoes. Like, what would you do? Like, would you be like one of those people like, oh, I'm breaking up with you, I don't want kids, that kind of thing? Like, would you be like that?
like if she wanted kids and I didn't,
Yeah, but she was willing to accept the fact that you didn't.
I would still be with them, even though
Yeah,
if they didn't want them. Like like maybe several years down the road, maybe I would want to try, but not right now at the age of my life right now, because it's like
yeah,
it's all about life, death, and taxes right now.
and rock and roll.
And rock and roll. But I mean, for real though, like
Yeah,
if said girl said like, I want to have kids, but then I said like I don't want to have kids, and she was accepting of that. She's like, okay, yeah, I understand that. Like we're both very young. We don't want to do that because, like, to be to be completely honest and stuff like that, it's like she's got to go through that pregnancy. I don't.
I feel like a lot of men don't take that into consideration either. Like, you gotta remember, you're not the one pregnant. We are.
Like
We have to go through pain for 9 fucking months.
the man is the one that pulled the trigger, quote unquote, so to speak. But like, I would have been like, I would be like, okay, like maybe down the line we'll try. And it's like if you can't try, it's like try again. If you can't get it on the first try, like I mean, there's a lot of couples that they try on the first try and they cannot get it, and that
Right,
sucks. But at least they keep trying, and they're at least like they're both there for each other in sickness and health, being like, yeah, okay, like we didn't get it on the first try, but god damn it, like we're gonna try it again.
right. But like my
And
situation, I don't want kids at all. Like,
I
not what
don't
I'm
either,
not
but
now, not when I'm 25, not when I'm 30. Like, I don't want any. Like, I'd rather
I
just live my life like this. Like, not having as big of responsibilities. Because, like, I feel like when I get on my own, I'm gonna have enough responsibilities with like bills and taxes and all that crap. Heck, if I get a pet, that's gonna be like another responsibility. So like,
it's another child. It's a
literally,
child
so
in itself.
it's like once again, it comes down to this: how much do you love your partner? That's what it really comes down to. Are you willing to put your differences aside and stay together just for the sake? of the fact that you really love this person and you want them in your life forever? Or are you going to pick your preferences over love? Are you going to pick your preferences and your wants in life over true love, over spending time with somebody for the rest of your life? Like, what's it going to be? And I feel like that's what it really comes down to, and it sucks. Because, like, I'm just over here feeling like shit. Like, I don't want kids. It's just my personal thing. I don't want them. And, like, he's going to choose that over trying things again with me. And it's just like, okay, suit yourself. Like, good luck out there. You're not going to find another me. And I've always said that about myself. You're not going to find another me. It's very hard to find people like me out there.
Hmm.
I have a personality that is unmatched.
It's like, hey, I found you.
Well, yeah, you and Ken's and Corey and whoever God knows watches this freaking channel. Uh, but yeah, I've just been full of anger and hurt. Like, I guess the sadness has kind of went away. Like, I'm not really crying anymore. I'm more just like angry, hurt, and bitter. Like, I'm just those three words alone. Very bitter lately. It's just like, I really don't care. Like, fine. If you want to be like that, have fun. I'm going to live over here, over my life, and chasing my
Listen to my
dream,
music.
listening to my music, and chasing my dream of becoming a radio host.
I love that they use that as an example.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, yeah, like I want to chase my dreams. So that's like, well, don't you think? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like when
Dude,
I
that
was
has.
reading, when I was reading through those, I was like, bro, like I just really wanted to punch them in the face right now. I was like, why are you using that as an example?
That's not a good example. Like, it has that and having kids are two separate, completely different things.
That's two totally different spectrums.
A career is something that kind of like, it's hard to explain. Like, you probably have better words than I do right now. Like, having a kid, it's a big step, a big responsibility.
It's a big step in life itself because it's like if you're taking on more responsibilities that have
Mm-hmm.
with that kid. Whereas, like, like if you have your job, like, yeah, you have responsibilities, but it's not like, you have to pay for your kids' diapers, you have to pay for formula, you have to pay for like baby food, you have to pay for like a lot of shit for that kid.
And with a
And
job, like, it's not as, like, I don't want to say it's as bad because it's another big step in your life, but it's something that, like, you can kind of work around. Like, you don't have to rush home because your kid is sick. Like, you can stay at your job
mhm.
and do what you love.
and and it'll help you pay the bills too.
And get your food.
And get you clothes and help you with your car and help you with your, well, not mortgage, but we'll get to that. But like,
It'll let you spoil yourself, you know?
yeah, like, and it's good and nice to spoil yourself every once in a while. Cause like I
It's
do that sometimes.
it's just like, why use that as an example? Like, you knew damn well how much radio hosting means to me. Like, I have been wanting to do this since the pandemic era of my life. And it's just because I grew up listening to radio. As a kid, I've always wondered what would it be like to become a radio host, a radio broadcaster, if you want to put in professional terms. Like, what would it be like? Like, what would I have to do? Like, what would I be able to do? Like, think about all the people I'd get to meet, all the people I'd get to talk to, all the stuff I would learn about bands that I've never heard before. I'd get the chance to hear new music right on the spot.
Right.
And heck, freaking one of the hosts on Show, he's actually sat down and interviewed Billy Talent. Not once, not twice, but I think 3 times. Can you
Hey,
imagine me interviewing literally my favorite band in the whole world?
it's like
I,
you
I have
would,
like tears in my eyes right now. I'm just like thinking about it. It's just like, I think
and
everybody
you
knows,
said
like,
you were gonna cry on this show.
but this is a good reason. It's just like, this is not out of sadness. This is just out of like hope. It's just like, can you imagine, like, because everybody knows, including you, everybody knows by now how much Billy Talent means to me. They're like my favorite group of all time. They have saved me through fucking everything. And like, can you imagine me finally getting to meet my heroes through my job? Can you imagine that? Like me getting to sit down and interview them. Like, I would just be in awe.
Excuse me.
Oh fuck. Like again, like I feel like I said on the last episode we did at the end. I feel like radio hosts slash podcast people. I feel like we kind of get
Short end of the
belittled,
stick.
kind of like belittled. Like when someone talks about their job, it kind of like belittles us a little bit because like oh, like they think oh you guys just sit at a chair all day and take requests and play songs. No, we do more than that. We actually like
Tell you what's
communicate.
going on.
Yeah, we communicate with you, like communicate about like tours coming up, albums coming out, songs coming out, bands to watch for. Like that's how I found a lot of these new bands on Shome because they talk about all these bands that are like up and coming and stuff, like The Warning, for example. If I never would have listened to Shome, I would have never found The Warning. And my God, they're going places. It's just radio host slash podcast much more than you think behind the scenes. Like for us, we have to take notes for a good chunk of our episodes. And sometimes we come to each other for notes. Like we got an episode coming up next week, next Thursday, a week from today, where I'm gonna need your notes and you're probably gonna need some of my notes and we're gonna compare and stuff. And we do a lot behind the scenes. We have to come up with ideas for you guys. I'm in charge of uploading and stuff. So like
And it's like with the episode that we're doing, this week, well,
next week, right?
next week, but like it was like the like little spoiler, but it's like it's wrestling related, and it's like I've done a whole bunch of notes on this,
Right.
and it's like yeah, like like you like I do take notes, but it's like she does too, and we always like either compare notes or but okay like you have this one but it's like I always have this like to add on top of whatever is said, and it's like there's a good working ship that we run, and it's like if there is no captain it's like the ship is going to sink.
Yeah. And then when you take a look into like a radio host perspective or a radio broadcaster's perspective, they do sometimes have to take notes. Like if because I know Shome, what they do on Sundays, they do a classic vinyl Sunday, which is where they play one full vinyl album at 7 o'clock p.m. sharp. They play a full album, and then like so before they play it, they'll like talk about it a little bit. They'll play the first side. Before they flip to side B, they will talk about more and they'll ask a trivia question. And whoever gets a trivia question right will get a copy of the album and $50 to spend at some record shop located in like Montreal. I can't pronounce it. I'd have to literally practice pronouncing it because I'm not French. Um, so that's usually what they do. Like they give a lot of history about this stuff. And on Fridays, they also do a thing at like 2 o'clock with Randy Renaud. He does like a history lesson about some certain band, a certain song, or a certain album. I know one week they did Dark Side of the Moon, obviously, because Dark Side of the Moon turned 50 this year with Pink Floyd. They were talking about how that album became and stuff like that. Do you realize how much like notes they'd probably have to take or stuff they'd have to memorize off the top of their head to talk about?
Oh yeah, they would have to do a lot.
So I'm just going to put it out here right now. I'm going to be bold. If you are one of those people out there who are belittling podcast hosts slash radio broadcasters, fuck you. Big F you, because they do a lot. Radio has been around for years. And if it wasn't for radio, you guys wouldn't be hearing all this new music that has come to to be known today. Like radios started way back before me and Dystro were even born.
Mm-hmm.
Like AM and FM radio. Like that's what I listen to daily. I listen to FM radio. If it wasn't for radio, you wouldn't be hearing any of this music. Where do you think all this music comes from? Of course, it comes from the bands, but it's the radios that broadcast it and kind of like share it to the world. They promote it, in other words.
Right.
So, again, if you're one of those fucking belittlers, fuck you. Step into our shoes and see how you feel. It's a lot. It really is. Because, like, as me and Dystro, as we have social anxiety, it's more comfortable talking to you guys behind a screen. It really is, because like it feels like I'm talking to an audience, and I feel so much comfortable because nobody's looking at me. I'm literally staring at my wall and I'm talking to the wall. Hi, how are you?
That'd be funny if you talked about like, hey, how's it going? It's like, whoa, what the
What the
fuck?
fuck?
but, but like yeah, like I'm like literally looking at my TV right now, and it's like I have something playing in the background, so it's like background noise. But it's like yeah, like like we do a lot for our show
Behind the scenes.
behind the scenes. Like yeah, we gotta promote, we've got to make sure our equipment's running right, we gotta make sure we're on time sometimes, because it's like
Like
I mean
sometimes
some
we have like hiccups because like one of us is doing something. Usually it's me who has the hiccup because like I'm caught up in the middle of something.
an album.
Well, no, last time it was just something downstairs.
Yeah, but
But like we have to do that. Like we have to come up with ideas, gotta take notes. Like we just have to make sure we're on our A game and we know what we're doing. Because this thing is like it's kind of like a job to me. It's kind of like getting me ready for what I want to do in life. And it's good. It really is. Like I love doing this. I love doing this 2 times a week. It's just something that I've really become accustomed to. Um,
mhm.
but yeah, I remember when we first started, we were like so awkward. Like
Yeah, the very first episode. Holy crap.
back when we were on Spotify,
Yeah.
it
But
was really
yeah.
weird. Like we were kind of like we didn't really know how to flow off of each other, so to speak.
Mhm.
Like
But
we didn't
now,
know.
yeah, but now, like, since we've been into a year with this, it's like we kind of like, yeah, we like run over just a little bit, but it's not like full on like talking over each other like constantly.
Like it was when we first started.
Yeah, like well, I usually like wait until like you're done talking and then I talk and then vice versa. So it's like at least we've got that down pat.
Yeah, and like sometimes it's Wi-Fi that does it too, because like there's a
hmm
big distance. Like you're down in Florida, I'm up here. Of course, there's gonna be a little bit of a delay, which is fine.
hmm
Um, but yeah, I think we're gonna wrap it up here because we are at the 57-minute mark, and I don't want to go any longer than we have to.
Yeah, and we got an album to get to, so
Yeah, and we got a friend waiting for us too. I think our friend Corey's gonna join us for that.
oh brother.
Oh, brother, I miss him. Um, so yeah, that is Shoot the Shit, episode 6. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yes, again, a fuck you to whoever belittles radio hosts slash podcast hosts because they fucking work their tailbones off. All
Yeah.
right, next episode. So this Sunday is Easter Sunday. And you know what that means? Yes, we're doing another Easter episode. It might be a shorter episode because I'm not doing anything for Easter this year, I don't think. So I'm
I
not
don't
going to
know
have too
either.
much to talk about, but there are some things that I still want to talk about in regards to Easter, just for fun.
Yeah.
I loved last year's Easter episode that we did. That's probably one of my favorite episodes.
Oh man. That felt
Ah,
like forever ago.
yeah, almost a year ago. All right. What's our song of the night?
So I was thinking about this
Mhm.
and I was a little bit on a not a Nelly kick, but I mean we'll save that. Um but I am probably going to do um Black Velvet.
Oh, Black Velvet. Who's that again? Isn't it like
And
Alanis Morissette?
Alea
Oh,
Miles.
okay. I get them mixed up. Like, just
Alanis Morissette, you mean?
yeah, I get her and Elena Miles mixed up.
Yeah, Alanis Morissette. Yeah, that's not who it is.
I get them mixed up because like they sound so similar, name wise.
Yeah, but
So yeah, I like that song. I haven't heard it in a while, to be honest. I used to hear it on the radio all the time.
yeah, it still gets played on the radio down here sometimes. But
That's cool. It's good to know they're still playing it. Um,
mhm.
but yeah. Do you mind promoting the song. Say what the song is.
Yes, so tonight's song of the night is Black Velvet by Elena Miles.
All right, if you guys want to hear Black Velvet by Elena Miles, be sure to tap on the top right hand corner of the episode. There should be a link that pops up towards the end. It'll take you right to the video. Go ahead and take a listen. I definitely recommend you guys listen to that one. It's pretty good. I haven't heard it in a very long time though, so I might take a listen to it myself. So that's it. If you guys stuck around to the very end, we greatly appreciate your support. Be sure to follow us on social media by clicking on the link in the description below, which will take you to Linktree. We have TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Reddit. Be sure to go follow us there to keep up to date with the podcast. And Dystro's gaming YouTube channel is there as well. So go subscribe to him. We're on the road to 700 subscribers. He uploads weekly gaming content. We just played Skate 3 a couple nights ago. So
Yeah, that was fun.
it was. It really was. So yeah, go subscribe to him. Go share his stuff around. Once again, be sure to listen to tonight's song of the night, Black Velvet by Elena Miles. And that's going to be it. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll catch you guys this Sunday for Easter. Peace.
Peace.